Okay, good evening. Welcome to Santa Barbara Airport in California. Tonight's flight is a VFR jaunt along the California coast to Van Nuys, which is a scenery that I've not long installed, a payware scenery that I just installed. So here is the ground chart for Santa Barbara. We are parked over on the right hand side of the page as we look at it, next to the terminal area, kind of alongside runway 3 right. I haven't spoken or listened to the ATIS, but basically the flight will involve departing on whatever runway is assigned, and we'll fly along the coast, over Oxnard, Camarillo area, and then look to find Van Nuys without using any instrument navigation. So we will go ahead and we'll turn on the power and listen to the weather. If it works, which it's not.
Santa Barbara Airport Information Uniform 2300 Zulu. Wind 118 at 5. Visibility, tree. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,800 feet, few clouds at 4,800 feet, few clouds at 13,800 feet. Temperature, 20. Dew point, 10. Altimeter, 29.902. ILS runway 7 in use. Landing and departing runway 7. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have uniform.
Okay,
Santa Barbara Airport Information Uniform 2300 Zulu. Wind 118 at 5. Visibility, tree. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,800 feet, few clouds at 4,800 feet, few clouds at 13,800 feet. Temperature, 20. Dew point, 10.
so
Altimeter, 29.
runway 7 is in use, which is a little bit of a taxi from here. We're going to have to cross over the parallel runways 33 left and 33 right, and it will be taken off facing the right direction. Right enough, we'll be facing towards the east, and we'll look to I'll just have a little look at the VFR chart for Santa Barbara. So KSBA. So there's Van Nuys there, Oxnard. I don't think that we'll go as high as that. We'll route along the coast, and we'll stay as low as we possibly can. We'll stay at a couple of thousand feet. We'll route down the coast past Ventura and Oxnard, round towards Malibu, and then we'll head inland from there. I know that there is some fairly high terrain around in this area, so we will. There's not a massive checklist for this aircraft. Memory items: just the fuel on, open the mixture fuel rich, we'll prime the engine, open the throttle a tiny little bit, and right magneto left, both, and start. So the engine's running, avionics on, P2E on, beacon nav and taxi lights on. There was some ground traffic beside us, but flight sim doesn't So we're going to go east. Flight sim doesn't crash us if
Santa
we
Barbara
hit
ground, Cessna
ground
Golf,
traffic.
Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo with uniform
So
request taxi for takeoff
we'll
east
just
departure.
drive through them.
Cessna Golf, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo taxi to and hold short of runway 7 using taxiway Alpha cross runway tree right Alpha cross runway tree left Alpha Papa. Contact tower on 119.7 when ready.
So
Taxiing hold short runway 7 using taxiway Alpha cross runway tree right Alpha cross runway tree left Alpha Papa Cessna
I just
Alpha
hit the
Romeo
trim
Kilo.
control there, so I'm just making sure that it is not in a dodgy place for takeoff. Looks alright. Altimeter is set, so we'll release the brake and we'll just spin round over the top of this car. If it's still there. We might be able to turn around. Well, maybe clipped him a little bit, but alright. So I'm not exactly where I thought I was at. I thought that we were over beside. Oh no, I am where I thought we were. So this is the taxiway just ahead of us, and the runway 33 right, and then 33 left. So we'll skip to outside view, have a little look. So nothing down the runways, nothing in that direction. So we'll continue and taxi across the parallel runway, or the first one anyway. Just have a little check. Nothing there, nothing there. And again for the next one. Nothing there, nothing there. So we're not going to use any flap for takeoff here. We've got plenty of runway, and I wonder if we can get an intersection takeoff. Save us taxiing all the way down to the bottom. Let's have a little. We'll find out if we hold short here and switch to the tower frequency. So yeah, we can get.
Santa
So
Barbara
we'll
Tower,
turn
Cessna
the
Golf,
strobe
Mike
lights
Alpha
on and the
Romeo
landing
Kilo
lights
at
on.
runway 7 ready for departure east departure.
Pitot heat's on.
Cessna Golf, Mike
Everything else
Alpha
is good.
Romeo Kilo altimeter 29.92 wind 118 at 5. East departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 7. Cleared for takeoff
cleared for
runway 7
takeoff.
Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo.
Add a little bit of power in. Check on runway 7, there's nothing on approach. There's nothing down the runway. Maybe should have gone a little bit further down, but we'll be alright. So we don't have much runway from here. That's the touchdown zone for the opposite runway there. So there we go, 50 knots. We'll rotate. So we're airborne. We will, once we reach 500 feet, I'll come back a little bit on the power.
Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo, continue for east departure. Santa Barbara Tower, Cessna Golf, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, continue for east departure.
So that's us passing 500 feet. We'll come back to 2500 RPM. We have a little bit of haze. I will continue to climb up to around about 2000 feet. And then we'll just turn, actually, we'll get ourselves out over the water and we'll follow the Californian coast towards Malibu. So we've got a climb of around about 800, 900 feet per minute. We're looking for 75 knots climb speed. Feet. That's us at 1500 feet. I think we'll climb up to 25. And we'll just follow the coast. There's a little bit of haze along the coast here, but I suppose that's to be expected.
Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo leaving my airspace, frequency change approved.
So we're at 2000 feet. We'll switch to
Santa Barbara Tower, Cessna Golf.
I think it'll be
Mike
Los
Alpha
Angeles
Romeo Kilo,
control.
frequency change.
No, Santa Barbara approach. Actually, we'll climb up to 2500 feet before we talk to ATC. We're at 22. Oh, that's us leveling off at 2500. Need to adjust the trim a little bit here. So that's good. A little adjustment on the power for 2500 RPM. More on the trim. Okay, so the aircraft's trimmed out. We are at 2,500 feet. We'll speak to
Santa Barbara
approach.
Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo is type Cessna 152 7 miles east of Santa Barbara at 2,500 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Cessna Golf, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, Santa Barbara approach. Squawk 6763.
Squawk 6763 Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo.
Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo radar contact 8 miles east of Santa Barbara, 2,500 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace, Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo.
So we got 2500 RPM, we're trimmed nicely for straight and level at 2500 feet, and we're just going to follow the beautiful Californian coast down towards Ventura, Oxnard, Malibu, and then we will see if we can find our way to Van Nuys. I'm just going to have a look on my... oh shit. I'm just going to have a look on Google Maps, see if there's any distinguishing geographical features to help us navigate. Judging by the looks of it, it might be easy just to come along past Malibu a little bit, just up to Santa Monica Beach, then turn inland, and Van Nuys Airport should be fairly easy to find this way. Climb up just a tiny little bit there, by about 50 feet, just adjusting the trim, checking the power setting. So that's better. So this area on the left hand side of the plane would appear to be I hope I'm going to pronounce this right, but Carpinteria or Carpinteria. Then just a little bit further down is a place called Muscle Shoals, and a little bit beyond that, Faria Beach. The VFR chart that I am looking at just now is this one here. We started up on the top right, the top left hand side of the page at Santa Barbara, and we're routing down towards the lower right hand side of the page, and then coming inland a little bit to Van Nuys. That's the plan anyway.
Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo, leaving my airspace radar service, terminated, clock 1200. Frequency change approved.
1200. Frequency
So that's
change
us being
approved,
given
Cessna
a
Alpha Romeo
VFR squawk code. But we can check in with SoCal approach and we can ask them for flight
SoCal
following.
approach Cessna Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo is type Cessna 152.17 miles east of Santa Barbara at 2,500 feet. Request flight following.
Cessna Golf, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo SoCal approach. Squawk Tree 226.
Squawk Tree 226 Cessna Alpha
So
Romeo Kilo.
3226 is our new squawk code so that ATC can identify us on radar.
West of Oxnard, 2,500 feet. Altimeter 29.92.
Roger, Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo.
So that was ATC telling us that he has us identified on his radar and that he's keeping an eye on us and look to keep us away from any conflicting traffic. I haven't heard a single aircraft on frequency. So I'd reckon that we're in the region of Faria Beach. Just a little bit beyond is Ventura and Oxnard, where I spent a week in hospital a couple of years ago. Mr. Mario Santana at Oxnard Airport was kind enough to take me airside in the patrol vehicle and the airport fire engine, and let me have a little play around with a water cannon. That was very nice of him. He's also a private pilot with the ambition of one day being a commercial pilot, and he promised me if I'm ever in the area again to give him a shout, and we'll go up in his Cessna 152 for real. Cool guy. The terrain flattens out a little bit over Ventura and Oxnard. I'll cut inland just a little bit and we'll overfly Oxnard Airport and Naval Air Station Point Magoo before we head back out over the water, because there's some fairly high terrain the other side of Oxnard. Have a little look around, fly over Ventura and Oxnard. just on the left is Emma Wood State Beach as we approach the western edge of Ventura. And Kellogg Park. So that's Ventura down there on the left. This is us flying over Pierpoint Bay next to Ventura Beach. Just up ahead of me I can see Oxnard Airport. That's Harbour Bay or Harbour Cove Beach, sorry, down below us. The sun's a little bit bright on the over there in the west. That's McGrath State Beach below us, running down to Mandalay State Beach. And then a little bit beyond that is Oxnard State Beach. I can see the airport just in the 11 o'clock position just now. What I'll do is get a little bit closer in and then we'll fly along the runway heading, have a little look inland. Oxnard Airport is just beneath the fuselage of the aircraft. I go out the way. You can see the runway beneath us. So there's the runway down there. A little bit beyond Oxnard Airport, I believe it's Camarillo Airport. We'll take a look over that way and then we'll turn towards Point Magoo. So it's quite handy having these flight instrument panels in front of me on my desk, that I don't need to necessarily be in cockpit view to keep an eye on things. We're still at 2,500 feet. We have an airliner passing down below us on our left hand side. Must be landing at Camarillo, but we're tuned to SoCal approach. He'll be talking to the tower. I should have a look on flight radar and see. Actually see any aircraft that could be. So Camarillo Airport is just off the nose of the aircraft, so starting to be hidden by the fuselage and the wing of our aircraft. I'll turn a little bit so that straighten up. You'll see it below us on the right hand side. So that aircraft is just about touching down now. That's Camarillo Airport below us now. Runway 8. That's almost at the end of runway 8, so what we'll do is we'll turn round towards Point Magoo and then we'll head back out over the water for the next little bit to avoid some of that terrain there. Naval Air Station Point Magoo is straight ahead of us. Turn towards the sun so that so we're being handed to Point Magoo approach.
123.75 for Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo.
We'll check in with him when we pass the naval air station, and then get ourselves back over the water. That's Naval Air Station Point Magoo. Is it runway 3? I think. No, it wouldn't be runway 3. I don't know what the runway number was that I just saw there, but runway 27 maybe. Point Magoo Naval Air Station, so we'll turn back to follow the coastline down towards Malibu and Santa Monica. Very impoverished part of the world. If only. So it looks like there's a little bit more haze towards Santa Monica. Jump back in cockpit view just so that we can make sure everything is as it is supposed to be, which it is all looking good. We've got an indicated airspeed of just over 100 knots. We are level at 2,500 feet, and we're not using any instrument navigation of any kind. We're just navigating simply by following the Californian coast. Checking the map. It'll be Point Magoo Beach and Point Magoo State Park on the left hand side. A little bit beyond is El Matador Beach, and then Zuma Beach Point Jume, and then Laguna Point, Malibu, and a little bit beyond that is Santa Monica. Should be able to see the pier and the beach there. Quite famous landmarks. Check the charts for Van Nuys, see if there's any so Van Nuys, open the charts. So there is a VOR should we fail to locate the field, but let's check. It's an RNAV approach. That's approaching from the opposite side. So is that. So is that. Tune to Point McGee approach, check in with
Point
that
McGee
first.
approach Cessna Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo 2,500 feet. Cessna Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo Point McGee approach altimeter 29.92 continue as planned.
Okay, so let's see if we can find Van Nuys Airport. Actually, I just remembered I don't need to do this. There is another way that we can tune 127.55 into nav 2.
Information Mike 0000 Zulu. Wind 358 at 29er.
Wow, 358 at 29 on the winds. So there is runways 34 left and 34 right, which would be the easiest runways for us to locate and to land on with the winds like that. So that'll do for now. Tower is actually
Point McGee Tower Cessna Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo is 10 miles southeast, 2,500 feet with Golf to land.
Cessna Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo Point McGee Tower. Altimeter 29.9. 2 wind column 8 left downwind runway 3.
okay, so I just asked the wrong airport for landing, so he's cleared us to land, so we'll cancel that.
Point McGee Tower Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo cancel landing intention.
Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo, your cancellation is received.
So let's have a look and see if we can find Van Nuys here. There, it's there, 7. We already have the ATIS. We'll tune to the tower and request a
Van
full
Nuys
stop
Tower
landing.
Cessna Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo is 24 miles southwest, 2,500 feet with November to land. Cessna Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo Van Nuys Tower. Altimeter 29.9 or 2 wind 358 at 29er.
3-4 left it is, which is the longer of the two runways.
Enter left base runway tree, 4 left Cessna Alfa Romeo Kilo.
And following the coast we would be entering a left base. I just hope that we can locate the airfield. So Zuma Beach is just down there on the left, or El Matador, I'm not quite sure. I think it would probably be Zuma Beach. Point Dume State Marine Reserve, and that's Point Dume that's sticking out in front of us. Beyond there is Malibu. So 3-4 left it is. Let's just check if there's any obstacles. There's obstacles to the north of the field, but so we'll make a little bit of a turn here to stay over the water. I think the residents around here have quite a lot of money and wouldn't be too chuffed if Marky Boy and his little Cessna was to be droning over their lovely homes down there. So
Line 818, follow the aircraft on final. Wind 358 to 29er. Clear to land runway 34 left.
so that's another aircraft cleared for landing, but he must be a bit ahead of us.
Line 818.
So here's the airport chart. Runway 34 left being the long one. 34 right, the much shorter one, but either of those runways is more than enough for our little Cessna 152. That's Point Dume, I hope that's the right pronunciation. State Beach, running down to Point Dume, right at the end, just about to show itself in the left side window. A little bit of a turn here. I would anticipate that there's quite a lot of traffic in this area, not necessarily on this frequency right now. We're tuned to Van Nuys Tower, but we got quite a few airports in this area, including LAX, Santa Monica, Van Nuys, and many others. So we'll need to keep our eyes and ears open for any traffic. Nothing there just now.
Exit line 818, turn next taxiway.
Hex Airlines, never heard of them. So if the winds were as they were forecast, we'll have a really very slow ground speed when we touch down, somewhere in the region of about 30 knots, which is less than 40 miles an hour. and we got let's have a look here. We have 8,000 feet of runway, so we got more than three times higher. Like we're at 2,500 feet. So even if we were three times that at 7,500, we'd still have 500 feet to spare compared to the runway that we've been assigned. So this must be Malibu. My girlfriend and I have passed through here a couple of times as we drove up and down Pacific Highway number 1 in our brand new, at the time, Corvette Stingray convertible. Living the dream.
Desert flight retreat, follow the generic
So they will hit on a little bit of wind shear there.
Cleared to land runway 34 left.
Just adjust the power and trim and we'll get the aircraft back to 2,500.
Desert flight retreat.
Getting down towards Santa Monica. I think if we route down towards the pier and then turn north, that should pretty much set us up reasonably well to find Van Nuys Airport. We had a pressure change there, but we seem to have gained about 150 feet that we don't want, so I'll start the aircraft to descend a little bit, back down to 2,500. Us back at 25. Just adjust the trim back to maintain that altitude.
Desert Flight 33, turn next taxiway.
So here we are just on the edge of Los Angeles, just coming up on Santa Monica Beach. We'll route along and see if we can find the pier, and we'll turn inland from there. We'll stay at 25, 198 at 5, so the winds are not as bad as we initially thought.
Clear to land runway 34 left Cessna Alpha Romeo Q.
So I'm just looking out. I think the pier is just off the nose of the aircraft now. A little bit further down I can see Los Angeles International Airport, but we don't want to stray down as far as there. I'm going to go back to cockpit view because we need to turn to the north once we reach the pier. So that's Santa Monica Beach down on out the left window. Muscle Beach. So there's a fairly big car park, and that looks like the pier down there. So we'll turn to the north and see if we can find Van Nuys Airport. Hopefully we find it fairly quick, and I think we may need to make quite a fairly substantial steep descent into Van Nuys, but let's see if we can find it first. To cross this high terrain. The airport should be located on the other side of there. So we're flying a heading of about 350. Keys and hills. Touchdown zone elevation is 746 feet. So we got about 1,800 feet to lose once we clear this terrain. So there's Santa Monica Airport behind, just behind us there, and off in the distance is Los Angeles. So this will be interesting. We'll be pretty low across this terrain. Keep our eye on our heading. I can't see the field, so we'll be hoping that once we clear this reasonably high ground, that Van Nuys Airport appears as if by magic in front of us. Might get a little bit bumpy crossing these hills. Indeed it is. So, let me just go back on Google Maps. So I may or may not see the airport straight ahead, I'm not sure. We can use showcase view and see if that helps us out. I'm not sure. And the haze just got worse, so that's a bit of a bummer. I'm going to aim at what I think might be the airport. And we'll bring the power back to 2100 RPM for a gentle descent. I think I do see the field, so that's good. So we got 2100 RPM. We'll bring in a notch of flaps just to help slow us down. We'll come back to 1900 RPM. So I am visual with the field. We're probably a little bit on the high side. So as we keep up with a fairly steep descent, our airspeed will stay quite high, but we'll look to sort that out when we get a little bit closer in. So the touchdown zone elevation was 746 feet. So back a little bit further on the power. So landing lights are on. We have the runway ahead. Speed's coming back towards somewhere where we would want it. We'll come back with another notch of flaps. So we've got 2 red and 2 white on the Pappy. Or the Vassi, I suppose it would be if it's 4 lines. So speed to 60 knots. A little bit bumpy. There we go. Almost down. We've got 8,000 feet of runway ahead of us, so we don't need to rush to brake or worry about floating or landing early, so shut the power. A little bit rudder into the wind.
Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo exit runway when able.
So there we are on the ground. We'll bring the flaps up. I'm not sure which side to exit the runway, but left or right, left or right, left or right. We'll continue ahead just now because I can't see any taxiways that. So there's Bombardier's
Cessna
hangars
Alpha Romeo Kilo turn next taxiway.
on the left. So here's a taxiway on our right hand side, so we'll exit the runway to the right. So we'll turn the landing lights and the strobe lights off.
Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo contact ground on 121.7.
So
121.7 Cessna Alpha Romeo Kilo.
So that looks like a 757 over there on my left hand side, so we'll taxi over somewhere beside there. I've always liked the 757, my favorite narrow body aircraft. So this is the first time I've successfully used this add-on scenery that I bought on Saturday there. I have attempted 2 flights from this airport, and both times Flight Sim took a dump on me. Didn't like something around this way, I don't know what. So over on the right hand side there I can see the Western jets.
Exit 113, follow the generic on final.
Western Jet Aviation's hangar.
Clear to land runway 34 left.
I'm not sure what's beyond that, but we'll taxi on up towards that
Clear to land
757,
runway 34 left ExitJet 113.
and then we'll park up, and I'm going to my bed because I have work again tomorrow. Slow down a little bit here as we approach this turn. Still take a bit of getting used to the differential braking. So somewhere in here on the left hand side is that 757. There, it's there. So what we'll do is we'll slow right down and we'll turn into the left and park in front of him, give him an inferiority complex next to our mighty powerful 152. So there's the 757. No doubt a privately owned one as well. So we'll spin round so we can park beside them. So there it's there. So park and brake is set. I'll cut the mixture so the engine is now off. We'll kill the lights, the magnetos, turn the pitot heat off, and kill everything there. So that's all over and done with. 58 minutes and 8 seconds for our little jaunt down from Santa Barbara to Van Nuys here in California. Anyway, that's enough for me. I'm going to my bed. Good night. Bye bye.